Hello world, this is JWP, J Ward Primo Beats, coming to you live from my home studio. For around 20 years, I've been rapping. No, it's not. I've been rapping for 20 years, but I'm supposed to start with mixing and mastering. One more time. Hello world, this is JWP, J Ward Primo Beats, coming to you live from my home studio. For around 20 years, I've been mixing and mastering music, rapping, songwriting, and recently started singing, along with everything else that goes with music production, such as graphic design, editing, photo editing, video editing, and for around 15 years, I've been using SynthEdit to make my own audio plugins. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. My Twitch, JWP Stream, Facebook, JWP Meta, YouTube at JWPTube. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own audio plugins in SynthEdit, my GoFundMe, JWP Fund, or my PayPal, jwpmas@gmail.com. Likes, comments, subscribes, follows, whatever makes you click are appreciated. I will be continuing along, remixing, remastering some of my older beats in FL Studios. And so once last I left off, I was pushing all the compressors and stuff and got to a nice punchy-ish point. Not too punchy, but punchy-ish, you know, little punches. And I'm onto the shaker now. I'm just gonna, and that's the wrong channel. I want that coming through my headphones. Okay. You can really hear the shaker is practically dead. And it kind of throws me off a bit that there's no snare in the beginning because I'm so used to like this starting in the verse and there being snare. Okay, so shaker, -12 engagement, gain has to be off here, and then turn it on. Oh, that's gonna, I want to get to engagement first. So I'm gonna follow that and we'll just look. There it is. Got to come up with about 12 for engagement. A little more, 15. I'm going to push past engagement just by a little bit. That's engagement point now. And we're listening to the timbre and the compression. We're looking at the compression of the waveform, all the stuff that comes along with the compression domain. So there it is. And here's without. It'd be nice if things fit together. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it off. One. So not much difference right now. I'm going to turn that down because that's a really noisy instrument for me. It's probably still going to be just as loud on stream, and when I'm not talking, it just gets even louder. So I'll bring this to 0. Nice to have like a button dim. However, computer keyboards aren't made for music production, really. There's no knobs, there's no sliders, there's no MIDI triggers. Even the function keys could maybe serve that purpose, but they don't come stock like that. So, jumping back in here, compressor is running, not much of a change. It's time to start blaring it. So right away we got, sounds like a bunch of sand. Now it's got a lot of attack. A bit of attack with sand. So let's keep pushing it. Okay, so now that sand is kind of turned into like a snip of scissors. Like it's a lot of attack and some scissor snip. And I opened the file save dialog. Keep on going here. Okay, so now we're pretty much just in headbanger zone here. Kind of breaking, but not quite yet. Still maybe a little more. Okay, so now it's breaking. You can hear it tapping out and clicking. So I'm going to turn it up here at this point for myself here. Idea. And start pulling. Broken here. At what point does it stop clicking? And what there? Yeah, about here, and then it starts to clicking here, right? So At this point, it's just all one smear. Like it sounds like a snizzer snip and some schnakers and some everything all mixed together, right? Of course, it started me over there. I don't know why it started over there. Start pulling on it. Okay, so we're back to kind of just a blur, but no blare. This is where the sounds start to sort of separate a bit. Like a really aggressive spray atomizer. Okay, so then we're kind of back to that separation point of like a snap and then like what did I say? Gravel. Okay, so then this is just engagement. No, this is pushed once. So it's actually still sounds like a shaker. It's just a lot more powerful. So let's find a point in between these two guys. So there it is there. We can kind of hear like it's like a snap and then a shaker, right? So it's really high attack. And we lose that high attack. So somewhere here, it's still a lot of attack. Let's bring it in a little bit. Oh, there. It's a nice sound. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, can gains off. I'm going to listen to that loud on my ends. It's got a lot of like noise, right? But it is pretty much pure noise. It's just all noise almost. Of course, it doesn't have a measure point. So I'm going to pull on that E9 too. I'll do that after. Change the sound a little bit here. I could use sweet spots, but there's no real point. Let's go E and E9, and we're just going to pull that up. I'm just going to pull it up, rather. And target it out a bit. A little more. Just to get it sort of that's the center frequency, and that really hurts. So I'm going to turn it down for myself. E-ish, E-ish, E, E-I-E-I-O. Still not enough. Let's tighten it up a little more here. Any more, and it's probably going to start resonating. So I'm just going to keep pulling. It is changing the sound. But I really want the center frequency to be E, right? So it blends with the beat better. Could open it up a bit, I guess. Maybe. I don't really want to change the slopes too much. So that it looks a little more natural. Of course, the whole thing is unnatural. I even got a good sound down here. It's kind of scary. But it's fine, and we want the full spectrum here. I'm not one of those producers that just does the thing where you kind of, narrow everything away. Let's hear it with everything else. I will bring it back down to unity or lower first. Okay, so then we'll bring it in here. I'll bring it in. I want that loud for me now. Okay, so it sounds a little bit too much like a spray bottle. Let's kill this first here. See, that sounds better. It's because I made it unnatural, right? So I just have to get it back to sort of an equilibrium with everything else. Imagine that's where I want it to be instead of exceeding. Just so you know, at least there's something up there. Okay, so that's probably the point there. About. Tighten it up a little more, maybe. Don't want to go too tight. So where am I peeking out here? Right there, okay. Still. Just want to be in balance with this one little piece here, the G. I'm pretty much on E, so I just want to bring it up to that G. There. 10.5. Any more, any less, and I'll probably get like a spray bottle sound again, right? Still kind of there, but I mean, the alternative method is to frequency shift it. Might as well, because that's not sounding very good. That's not bad. Let's hear the whole thing, because it starts out without it, right? I don't like it. It sounds like a mixture of like a shaking beans and shaking beans in a spray bottle, like beans in a can or something in a spray bottle. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a shaker. If it is a shaker, it's made of pebbles. So let's see if we can mess with it even more. Frequency shifting it here, and of course I'm going to lose my compression ratio. However, I can still, do my best here. So what am I looking at? Let's turn everything off. What am I looking at as far as where it's sitting right now? Like, there's no natural tune, they say, to untune instruments. However, I do believe there is a center frequency, right? And it's generally like the whole thing would be around here. It's so hard to calculate something like that, though. So I generally look at both, sort of like an estimate of the whole frequency range and sort of the highest fundamental. And I feel like this is a G. So I'll call it a G9. And then I want to come up one, down one, right? G9, so G9, and I want to come down to an E here. Okay, so is that even on? Okay, it is on. And what we get is this. Okay, so it's a little interesting. I've got mirroring happening there, which is not good. E9, so that's not right. A lot of mirroring going on. It's like negative 15, yeah. So it's like G. It went too far, right? Yeah, I just went E9, so negative 3 there. Like negative 15. I went a whole octave. Yeah, that's a bit better. It's a little sneaky, a little sniffy. Someone's sniffing at something. Okay. I'm going to bring that into. Yeah, okay, so I'm still there. Let's push it through the compressor, see how that sounds now. Waiting for it. Ooh. Ouch. Now it just sounds like a hi-hat. Okay, so I'm gonna have to push it around a bit here. What is this? Oh yeah, that's that. Let's get rid of that. Don't need that. I like this is where it's at now. It sounds more like a shaker. But through the compressor, it does sound like it's like a can with sand in it being hit by a stick. I want that shaker sound. I want that schnaker. Let's get back to schnaker. Okay. So shaker now is like a sniffy kind of shaker, like a big shaker with lots of sand in it, right? Or small rocks. Don't want big rocks, small rocks. Okay, so we're getting that hi-hat sound already. So the attack is coming in pretty harsh. Okay. So do what I can to reduce that here. We just wanted to get change in the sound. We're kind of getting the best of it. So yeah, it sounds kind of like flimsy and flat, like it's not very vibrant, and we push into the compressor a little bit here. We get a little bit more out of it. Push too hard, we get too much. Push even harder, we just mutilate the sound. So I don't want that much attack. So like right here is too flimsy. Here's like nothing, right? It just feels like it's there. And here's flimsy. Here we're starting to get that attack. Here, I think that's where I want it. Maybe a little too much attack. Here is obviously too much attack. So somewhere right here. Breathe some life into it, but it doesn't overkill. I actually feel like it is a bit overkill. Let's come down here to 6. So it just kind of feels like it's all one constant shake sound. Without it, it just sounds like, and with it, it's a much more stiff sound. I'll try that against the other instruments here. First, I'm going to bring it down. It is down. Okay. Turn it up. I don't like like it. Like I like this sort of like the sniff sound, but it is a little still too stiff. Let's bring it down a bit. Just feel like it's trying to jump in front of everything else. It's not pulling it off. Yeah, it's a bit better. So it's still kind of flimsy, but it's bringing like it is flimsy, but it's bringing out like a bit more attack. And let's try without it without. It just sounds like someone's trying to light a match in the background. Right? Oh, it sounds like they're aggressively trying to light a match in the way. Okay, so let's try a little more. All right, that's better. That's kind of what I was looking for. Oh, it sounds like they're trying to light that match, but you can hear the whole strike like shh. All right, so we can get rid of this one. And then rebalance it here. I'm just going to close everything. Balance it again. Yeah. So I want to turn this off. It's also supposed to supplement the snare off the bat, but I don't want it too upfront. Yeah. So people are kind of expecting that second snare. Well, the brain is going to be expecting that second snare hit. And instead they get a shaker. So I want it to be kind of loud, but not too loud. Out there. It feels uncomfortable with that. So it kind of sits back a little bit. Like maybe I could bring it up a little more. No. It sits back and then it kind of supplements the snare, but it's not like trying hard to be the snare. It's just there. And then when it becomes itself a shaker, sort of a support percussion, it does its job. Yeah. It also hits at the same time as the snare for 1 or 2 times. So yeah. So now let's dim that and see where it's at. I want it to be louder. No, that's not where I want it to be louder though. Let's go with 9. It's a little bit try hard, but still not really doing it for me. I'm trying to see it as that snare though. My brain, when it's dim, I'm trying to see it as that snare. So it's kind of pulling it off now, right? But on its own, like when it's loud, it's probably not going to be good. No, I think it needs to be that loud. Like I was kind of pussyfooting around it, worrying that it was going to be too loud, but because it's supplementing for the snare, it kind of has to be that loud. And hearing it, loud and dim. So yeah, I was just pussyfooting it. It's good where it is now, nice and loud. Here it is again, dimmed. It kind of fits now, like it has to be that loud when it's dimmed. The snare is louder. It's but that shaker keeps the energy, and that's what's important. So I'm gonna play it from the end of the verse here. Let's see how it blends in. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Like this is supposed to be like the end of a verse, I feel like. I don't want to read through everything. Right, is that how it's supposed to go though? And this is like a chorus, but that doesn't make sense to have like a verse, 2 half verses and then half a chorus. Like, it'll work. It all depends on the songwriter, and this isn't a complete project, right? Because there still requires a songwriter. So that's where everything's at with compression, and I feel like almost everything else is done here. I'm gonna give a listen to Tote, and I'm gonna bring it in loud as well. Whoa. As well, I have to make sure. Yeah, that's there. But do I want that on the toms too? Like, what is this sub hearing with the toms? This actually should be the other way around. And some come down. Doesn't matter what order it's in. Bring in a stereo enhancer and then merge that, right? And this is, yeah, that's the cutoff here. So this is what the subwoofer is hearing. Okay. Not sure I like that. What am I doing here? Glasses. I don't know. It's kind of got a groove with the tones. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so let's hear it without the toms now. I might want to cut the toms, right? The bass is like super dead. So what's going on here? The snare is always just trying to be part of it, man. Where are you? Like, why are you so dead? I mean, there's still more to cover, right? I shouldn't really be listening to this. Why is this so much louder? Because it's got a fundamental and a partial. So I'm hearing both of these. That's why it sounds so crazy loud. So perhaps I should bring up the bass to compensate for that. I'd much rather go through here. So I feel like around here. And that's crazy loud. Where am I reaching? Yeah, I'm reaching way up there now. That's too much. Too much. That's going to eat up the master limiter too fast. So let's just go up to 30 here. But I want it to be like still hitting, right? Like I want it to hit as hard as the kick. I do not want to do any side chaining. I don't like bass side chaining. Like I feel like I invented bass side chaining, but it's just gross. It's just like side chaining the high end. It just sounds weird. It sounds like a techno DJ playing with the filter knob. So dynamic EQs are kind of out for me as far as one bass cutting another. They should combine, and when they combine, they should be able to be controlled. They should phase each other, sort of thing. There we go. So there is a boost here, like it's doubling down. However, I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. And like perceptually is really what's important here. I feel like they're on the level together. Even though the bass is visually or technically louder, perceptually I feel like the bass and the kick are now, they meet each other. So now bring in these toms here. I don't know. Especially this low one. Someone with the low one here. I kind of like that. There was changes. There's one change. Listening with this other one, I think this is off out of key, maybe. Not really though. Maybe just this one. Where's number 4 here? Waiting for number 4. So number 4 isn't bad. It's just kind of high. And then 1 and 2 are just... they're just muddying everything up. I mean, it feels gigantic, but yeah, I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill it after here. Then I'll bring it in here, just because everything's all done already. Something I might have considered earlier, however I didn't, and who cares? Let's get it in here now. The only thing I'm really worried about is the level loss for the compressor. And of course, cutting the mids before the compressor would be kind of weird. Like that, and then it's still running. So we're going to be able to still hear it a little bit, but not as much, right? And there's the guitar, of course. It's definitely way cleaner. Here's width. Let's bring these back, and we're going to see how much more muddy that is, right? Like, it just sounds like a bunch of mess. Like, imagine a car driving down the street and this is all you hear, right? Like, I don't know, it just feels like there's something wrong. It feels like, is it hip hop or metal? Like, so let's bring these out and hear it again. Okay, now it just sounds kind of like some powwow or something. But it's cleaner. It's way cleaner. The bass isn't being interrupted by these toms. And the bounce is still there, like without, you know, these extra toms. It's just these two guys. And I like what the snares bring to the table here. I mean, it's got the nod factor, but this has got the groove. Word. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it like that. I like it like that. But I do have to fix this volume change here. So I'm gonna turn this off and then fix that volume change. Let's do one at a time, I suppose. But yeah, it does sound like way flimsier now. It's still... Not sure why it's completely neutered. It shouldn't be completely neutered. It's just lost its center, not its side. Something broken here? Have I been using a busted preset the whole time? So here's mid. There is no side? That sucks. Interesting. Because there is no side. What does that sound like? It sounds broken. Okay. So there is no side. That's interesting. That's really interesting, right? So in order to make, I'll make a side here, and I'll do it this way. Oh, no, not like that. This one. And I don't know if I should stop after 500. Like usually it's the opposite way. Like I don't want to split the low, right? But in this case, I'm trying to make a side signal for the low so that it at least reaches the monitors and it, you know, it stays out of the sub. And it has to be before here. Okay, so, but like, I don't want to stereoize the tom, right? And I'm going to have to do that to all the toms for consistency. Okay. That's really weird. I've never had to do that before. There's 500 here, coming up here, from there. Now let's see. So it's still like really flimsy, and I did say there to be gain loss, but now I still have, you know, that side signal with some bass in it, so it still reaches the monitors, but it will not reach the subwoofer, right? Yeah, just the high end comes through the subwoofer, and there's lots of gain loss here. which is fine compared to this, right? But still, like I said, I'm going to have to do the same thing to all of it, which is interesting. Okay, so it has to be after the compressor. Let's see how that works out. Okay, so there is no patchers here, right? Still gotta bring this up one. There's no frequency shifter here. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so now I lost a lot of gain, right? But it's still consistent because it's not being cut out of the low. So it's kind of just level matched, so to speak. And we'll bring it back in here just to get an idea. It's stereoized now, eh? Ooh. What the hell was that? It phased canceled. When these two hit at the same time, they phase canceled. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, I gotta like hear that together here. I gotta fix that. Never mind, hear that. Okay, so it's these two. Yeah. Okay, so in order to fix that, I'll go left, right, left, right. Is that gonna work? It should. So go this way. No. This way, right? And then same with this top guy. It's still phase canceling. Bugger. Not as much. How noticeable is that? It isn't. Not very much anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do the thick one. Maybe I'll do the thick one on these top two. These two, just these two, because they're doing that. What about this extra one? What about number 4 here? Let's look at a crossover point here. This is the complete sort of audition. It's all 4 of them. I think this one's still kind of phase canceled a little bit. I don't think they're like, I don't think it's playing that part. Okay. Why not though? Is this part so much different from these parts? Yeah, it is. Okay. Should I just thicken everything? It's worth a shot. I kind of don't want to though. Especially with these low guys. Because then it'll only be on, no, it won't be only on one side of the monitor because its side signal's balanced against itself, right? So even if I shift it to one side, it'll still be perceived as center. I'll thick split the big ones in the opposite direction. So these two. There's a shot here. Okay, so stereo separation thick, and then from 500, 6 up, off. Then I'll just pull this one, delete as well. It has to be in the opposite direction, right? Okay, so let's look at this one here. And then this one, it's a little difficult to get in the opposite direction as well. This one is still staying in the middle quite a bit. Whereas this one is constantly back and forth. Okay, so it looks like it's already in the opposite direction. theoretically, because this one starts up here and this one starts down here, I'm keeping things in the middle. I could, if I want to, go in and push them around, right? However, I will keep it like that for now, and let's just see how things sound. Okay. So, let's flip the mix. Waiting for it to start over. So it's still there. I might just have to push it. So I'll go in and I'll push it around. Worst case scenario, I have to go in and make the other ones thin. Or thick, rather. So I'm just switching things. And this one's right, that one up. This last little one down. And then I'll just delete this one. No, not save. Delete. And toss this one here. So this was a little unexpected. Okay, so they are in opposite directions. This one starts up. This one starts up. Okay, so they're not in opposite directions. Let's make them in opposite directions here. Just by flipping mix and go. So where is that? Like, is that in the high? Must be in the high. It's like a Zane. Hell. What's happening, Zane? Good morning to you. We live. Hell, he says. Hell, I don't even know what that is. H-E-L? It's supposed to be hello or hi or whatever. But what would that be pronounced as? What's going on with you, man? What's happening with you this Wednesday morning? I'm glad to tune in. It's been a minute, Steph. Okay, so what's happening is here I got these toms together, and when they play together, they phase cancel, and it's giving this weird phaser sort of sound. So I'm going to turn all these EQs off, and I'm just going to keep everything centered. It's still there. How is it still there? How is that possible? Is it because of the mid being pulled? It is. Okay. Been cooking up house music all day. I'm deranged like the It Clown. Bro's just hanging out in the sewers. Hey, little boy. You want to hear some house music? Do you genuinely like mixing? Not really. It's not my favorite thing to do. I mean, it's an art, right? Okay, so it's phase canceling. How to fix phase inversion? How can I do that? Which ones is it doing? These two. Okay, so this is actually the body of the track. I don't want to invert that. I can invert this one, however. How do I do that? Let's get rid of this decibel meter. And there's not like a phase inverter, is there? Stereo enhancer, maybe? Pre-flip and invert. Invert left. Ooh, invert right. It's just the opposite way. Do you game when you're off stream? No, I do not. I'm not a gamer. I've been considering jumping back in. It's been like a long time for me because I've just been doing this mixing and stuff, and I feel like I keep riding over the same tracks. However, back to the gaming subject, it's I consider gaming like a really lazy pastime. And I grew up a game freak. Like I used to just obsess over video games until the point like I'd stay up all night and not eat and get really skinny and bony. Since I was about like 21, I used to be like really thin. And then I collapsed my lung when I was in 2013, 2012, and I went to the hospital and I got fat. And it was kind of before that, I just got into music more. And I just got sick of making fake money and then, waking up to the real world and having no money and, beating all these levels and saving the princess in this fake world and, coming back to reality and just it being shit. So, yeah, I stopped really playing games and I'm not too enthused about it. However, life hasn't ever changed no matter how much I've thrown at it. So little gaming might not hurt. Once I get some albums done, I might actually extend into doing some gaming streams and just kind of maybe jump on that boat. I mean, I still keep up with the culture, you know, gaming is a big part of my heart and my life. I just don't play anymore. I just don't like what it does. It's not very athletic. It's not very active. Maybe like in the eventual days when we start to get more in extended reality, augmented reality, we start to interact with the world a little more, perhaps it'll be a little healthier. And I feel like towards the end of my life, the world is going to start to change into that, where video games become overlaid on our life, I guess you could say. And it'd actually be kind of healthier. It'd be a little bit delusional and demented, but there's no stopping progression, right? In the gaming industry, when I was a kid, it was a joke. It was, you know, a couple million. Now the gaming industry is probably a couple trillion. Like there's people, look at Twitch. There's people that are living off of just playing games, right? Entertaining other people playing games and stuff. So that's my VR FL Studio. They have done that. I think there's a couple mods for FL Studio where people have brought in FL Studio. ImageLine doesn't like it because they don't like anybody tampering with the code. I want to play an FPS game with full VR. Then just get like PlayStation VR or Oculus Rift or something. I want XR. I don't want VR. VR is too clunky, and it's the same thing as what I'm against. It's like living in a fantasy world. I want my video games to lay on top of my reality. Whereas, you know, a trip to the store could be fighting a million bad guys along the way. I mean, it would look crazy jumping and ducking in the bushes and stuff, like Pokemon Go would be kind of an example. Right? It just, yeah, makes a little more sense. What were your thoughts on Apple Vision? I haven't seen Apple Vision. Everybody's getting ready for it. Like I said, I'm doing Visor. I don't like Apple. I mean, I don't mind the company. I just don't like the culture. It's just not for me. So back to the mix. So what's your thoughts on Apple Vision? Are you getting one? And also it's a VR, isn't it? I'm looking for XR. I think they're trying to do XR though. I think they are making it an XR. It just looks like a VR though. It looks like a big goggle. Damn, that's great. It's going to be Pokemon XR AR. Yeah. And the only place you can catch certain Pokemon will be in restricted areas, right? I think that was a thing. There was like a Magmite or something. You could only find it in like a chemical plant or something. And the chemical plants having fucking people standing outside their plant with these people with their phones trying to catch this fucking Magmite or something. Too broke for that. Only gotta get you a job, bro. There's opportunity all around. Okay, so phase invert. Left and right. There's another invert. I know there's one on the strip itself, but I mean, I'd much prefer an inline. Maybe stereo shaper. I can invert. Right? Phase. Can I say invert? Invert. There we go. Okay. Okay, so it's still there. Let's just zero in on it here. And let's keep trying to. Still the same thing. So which one is less? It sounds the same. Let's try this. I actually think the inverter is a bit better. Okay, without. Yeah, I think the other one's kind of a little better. It's the same thing. It's just upside down, right? Well, it looks like I'm just going to have to live with it and hopefully nobody notices. Okay, so what was my problem before? I was trying to create a stereo signal and I wanted a thin, right? But I have to continuously do the same thing across the board. And flipping the signal didn't help. If I continue to flip the signal, what's this? If I continue to flip the signal, it's going to sound stereoized. So it's going to sound like they're in different positions. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's also a distraction. It takes away from the original feel. However, if I keep it in the same place, it's going to sound bland. So the best idea is maybe like a 50-50. Let's hear it. So this is the full audition here. So like it feels like it's moving a little bit. It feels really thin down here, but it's supposed to. Let's move it, flip it, right? What I was talking about. So now we're now in a different area. It doesn't really feel like that though. One just feels thinner. It does a little bit. It does move a little bit, but not that much. So flipping it's fine. I'm tired of fighting with this. What you got planned for today, Zane, if you're still there? What you got going on? More mixing? Done mixing? Just relaxing? Enough being the twisted it in the sewer? Where else does it live? I think he just lives in the sewer, right? What is that EQ? This one? This is EQO. So this is an interesting thing. It I don't know, my brain hurts. It has different versions. So like it's not only an EQ. This is a general EQ, so up and down. It can also push the pan around by frequency spectrum. So it's kind of like what Sweet Spots does. This is actually the inspiration for Sweet Spots channel thing. X3. So toms. There's actually a stage in Sweet Spots here on the stereo maker. And that's what it does. It has pan bands and here's spread. So it just takes what I'm doing here is exactly this. Right? And then this knob here is actually this knob. However, I've included it in Sweet Spots because I don't have to keep opening a bunch of EQs. And Sweet Spots is supposed to be sort of an all-encompassing thing, right? Where all these different stages I'm doing here are being put together. However, in this case, I'm not really using Sweet Spots. And in Sweet Spots, I can't cut the bands down like I can here. So I'm just like just these, right? So just the bass. Maybe in eventual later versions, I don't know. Sweet Spots is kind of a... It is where it's at right now, and I'm using it where it's at right now. Getting close, case. So yeah, I had to take a second there to do some exploration of projects and stuff. Zane's always in the thick of it. And I will say the next tutorial documentation, that's where I kind of left off last time, is the compressor. So all those hungry developers out there that have been waiting for the next tutorial in Synth-Edit, the next one is going to be compression. And I have been putting it off on purpose because I know it's a big step. Everybody's crazy about compressors in music mixing field. And yeah, once that sort of power gets out there, I know it's going to be uncontrolled. There's going to be a million fucking synthetic compressors. And they're all just going to be the same thing, sort of. We get more sales if it was easier to buy. Yeah, like I said, it's just, I don't really want to babysit my clients either. It's for people who know how to use it, like me. Okay, so there's that phase cancellation. And what do I got to do here? So I got to cut the low end and I got to do some volume correction. That's where I'm at. So let's look at it here. It is way down there, right? Do I have anything on top? Top down, I have tote running. Okay, so let's get rid of tote just for now. And let's bring this level back up here. When I say let's, I mean me. I always say let's, I don't know why I do that. Let's and us as for tutorials. Look at that, it's dead though. So what was it before? Was it that dead? No, it wasn't, was it? That sucks. Okay, so I gotta bring in an EQ and fix that. Maybe I can do it in here, right? This is the side out. What's the depth here? What's the depth change? Let's look here. Turn it off. So the depth from the top, say 42 to this is about 54. So we'll say 2-hole, whatever those are, 2-hole measures. Now we'll bring in this guy. And I'll do a tilt here. I'll do a standard tilt. Except I'll do it backwards, right? Because I want to bring it up to low. And I'm going to full tilt. Let's see if I can bring it up 2 measures here. Kind of recover it. 1. Looks like I need 1 more. So I did say 2-ish, right? So just crank it. Okay, so it's a bit better. And I can feel like it's heavier on this side. Right? And that's just because of the way the EQO is sitting. So if I flip it, it feels a little more balanced. What have you been streaming like lately? What have your streams been like lately? Just this. I'm really pushing to get this stuff done. Okay, so I don't know why it feels unbalanced. Maybe it's just the way my... Like, look at that up there. It's completely phase canceling. So if I bring in just the sub, yeah, okay. Interesting. Okay. What am I looking at here? What am I looking for? Span. Okay, so let's look at it before and after here. Okay, so the patcher is also going to include its own boost, which is good, right? Okay, so before rather. Kind of the same. 1, 2-ish. This is about a half blend. So we got 1, 2. That's too much. Okay, so let's bring it down. About there. I wonder if the monitors are going to be unbalanced. Maybe it's got to be just my headphones or my head or something. Maybe because this is the side that the cord's plugged into. I've noticed that about headphones, like the side where the cord's plugged into always seems kind of stronger. But anyways, it's rebalanced now. That's where it's at. Let's put this one. But there is a bit of gain loss there. Yes. Okay, so let's bring it up. You can just wait your turn. Okay, so we're going to come up maybe 3. A little more. We're just supplementing, remember. Okay, a little more. Yeah, it's going to be nice to eventually get back to cooking someday. I did want... I've got to do another... I don't know if you're still there. So I got to punch out again. Do you use a lot of width and panning in the mixes? See, not right now. Because these are older beats, I'm trying to keep to the original feel. And back in the day, I didn't do a lot of panning. So... Alright, so I'm not going to be getting the MPC 1 Plus because it doesn't have an internal battery, it doesn't have a speaker, and it doesn't have the option for a internal hard drive. I will be looking at getting an MPC Live 2. Maybe by the time I put my money together, right, it is twice the price. There'll be an MPC Mark III or whatever. I wish there is a store to test all this music. So there is. You go to the music store and you say, can I look at this? I mean, if you got the money and you're ready to buy, even if you just want to test something out, the music stores I have, they always, do you want to try it first? And they're going to rip it out. I mean, they're happy to play with it too, right? Okay, so back to these toms here. This tom is fixed to a point. Let's get this one back in. That looks really loud though, is it? So much louder than it was. Let's turn this off. The ratio is kind of still the same though. Hopefully that's not too much of a big deal. Okay, jumping on this one. I need just that one, right? You tried the MPC Real Life already? No. They've always been too expensive. Like growing up, I never had a lot of money. I had to beg and scrape to get FL Studio $100, borrow grandma's credit card, and yeah, it was a big deal. And I didn't even get the right one. And then prepaid visas came out. And even then, I still had to save up. Okay, so I gotta rebalance this, right? Okay, so what was it before? But it's the only other input method I haven't tried. I've tried keyboards, I've tried drums, I do guitar, and I just can't stick with anything. I'm always back to this freaking typing keyboard. I'm always back to this mouse and keyboard. It's always here. That's like 90% of what I do is this mouse and this keyboard and touching these little number pads all the time. So I want to try a sampler. It's just the other one I haven't tried yet. There was some at NANN that look so cool in real life. I want to go off on a tangent and look at Beat Thing by Beat Kangs, but I'm really strapped for time and I want to get some stuff done here. What kind of music do you want to make? Well, I told you I'm going to do my own thing. It's going to be fucking weird. Yeah. And that's just where it's at because we'll see. I don't even know. It's like a mix between hip hop, dance, and rock. It's just other people have always been trying to do it. I can't really put a finger on it. I just want to do whatever. I don't really care. I just want until it sounds good. I want to get into some like tribal and melodic and just really deep stuff and songwriting, some fun songwriting, some like, creepy songwriting, just all sorts of shit. No, I don't like lo-fi. Why lo-fi? It's just like, you want to make lo-fi? Sure, let's just do this. This is lo-fi. That's lo-fi. Let's open this up a bit. Not 100%, but that's pretty much all lo-fi is. And then you can kind of like squish the bit depth if you want. I know there's other different kinds and stuff, but it's just, I'm looking for clarity. I'm looking for next generation stuff. Like, that's what I want to do. What am I doing? Okay, I'm rebalancing this instrument. That's what I'm doing. It hits. Oh yeah, I was looking at where the balance is. Okay, so we're coming in about here. Yeah. And then this guy's coming in down here. So again, about 2 ranges. I need to hear that next gen because I don't know. It's going to be the same thing. There's no such thing as really anything new. It's going to be the same thing, just more flavor, different flavor. Just doing what I want. That's all I really want. Like hip hop without, I'm better than you, and my bitches and my cars and my drugs. Not that. And it's not like rock where it's like devil, Satan, hail to Satan, and it's like no. So a little more here. Just other things. I really like the cyberpunk theme, but it's kind of depressing. But it is how the world is. I wanted to see a JWP stream for so damn long. They're in my YouTube. I mean, almost all of my first couple cookups or all my first couple YouTube videos are cookups, and it's just me sitting there waiting for inspiration. Okay, so that's rebalanced to a point. Let's get it up. Where is it now? It's kind of almost there. Let's push it a little more. A new one. Well, like, in order for me to bring that new gen, I got to finish this new gen plug. Look at how much different these are from each other. I mean, decibel full scale. Look at how this is so high. It's coming at like -6. And then this guy, it's the same sort of lineup, but it's coming in like -9. Even lower. Why? Did I just not pull on it yet? I'm pretty sure I just did, though, didn't I? Not enough? A little more? Is that not doing anything? Am I on the wrong? I'm on the wrong one. So now I gotta check this one. Did you check out this this other guy that I've been talking to? I don't think I told you his name yet. A Breezy. So apparently he like hit his head in the Navy and he's getting like compensation now. So he's just streaming like Fortnite and making rap music all the time now. But he's like on the come up. I had to help him out a little bit to get, people to visit his stream for feedback and stuff, and he's just really into it. He's a little eccentric, but he's his head's in the right spot. His heart is kind of in the wrong spot. He wants to do philanthropy, which is giving money away, like charity, right? I know, right? It's interesting. I don't mind messing with people. It's entertaining, and that's really the point. So that's why I kind of mess with him. Okay. Let's look at these toms again. But yeah, he was the one. He's looking for emojicons or emotes or whatever, and I thought of you right away because that's something you do on like Fiverr and stuff, right? But if you can handle his personality, you should touch base because you might be able to get some what are they called, commissions. I mean, you're not going to make thousands of dollars off the man, but a bit of money. Okay, so this one's really weak. Let's bring this up. You're the only stream I watch. Well, expand your horizons, my brother. I know you watch other YouTubers. Dig around Twitch sometimes. Get banned here and there. Throw your weight around. I'll probably be rating him after if he's still awake. His stream has evolved though from when I started. Before he was like really kind of quiet and just being weird. That's another thing too. He has all these like conspiracy theories. He thinks the Illuminati is like constantly watching him. And now he's a little cooler now because he has visitors and stuff. I don't think he talks about the Illuminati much anymore. And there's always constantly people bugging him. Because if you put feedback in your Twitch stream thing, people just constantly in and out, right? I watch the gaming and e-girl Twitch streamers. Of course you do, because those are the big money makers, right? I stopped watching Vinesauce and Varg Skeletor just because they're too brainwashy. I find they have their opinions and they're not like... They used to be like, oh, this is my opinion and whatever, but now it's like, this is my opinion and it should be yours too. Believe in me. And there was this one time where Vinny was like, oh, I'm so happy that, I get to stream and I'm so blessed. And I don't know, he kept going on and on about it. And I was like, holy fuck, bro, you're like really rubbing it in. It's like he's fucking burning me with a cigarette. Like, I'd love to stream all the time too. And I get that my stream isn't that entertaining. And then you got these big streamers and like, just, I don't know, it's cringy sometimes. Like some of the shit these guys say. I mean, I really like Varg Skeletor, Joel. He's the reason I started streaming. But like going back and just, it's kind of the same guy. He's always said, I'm an asshole and, I'm not a role model, but he's sort of cool. But then he's like poopy, pee, 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 poopy, poopy. And then, he's, flinging around crap on his games and sticking crap between people's legs. And I don't know, he's just being immature and it's great. It's, a great way to kill some time, but just after a while, it gets old. Like, once in a while I go back and check out these guys out, but sometimes I got to break from them. I have to break from them, and I don't really watch anybody else. I watch Amanda Lepre. I have actually started separating other streamers who do music. I used to follow with my main account, JWP stream. And then when streamers started doing like a lot of gaming instead of music, I started separating. I started pushing them into my gaming platform, Hydrux, right? Where I game once in a while, once in a year. I'm on the educational content grind. Cool. Okay, so I think I'm rebalanced again. Let's take a look at just the toms. So that phase cancellation is still there, unfortunately, but I'm not looping. I'm not looping here. Let's find a loop here. You can't actually hear it anymore. It's just blending nice now. But this is the loop here, the full. Oh, there it is. You can get the harmonics too. They just go all squirrely, eh? That's interesting anyway. And that's not even effect. That's just because these two things are hitting at the same time. Okay, one more time. I'm just looking at that they're all the same height. That's the volumes of the fundamental. It looks like this first one isn't as high as the other ones though. So I'm gonna bring up that first one a little. Which one is the first one? This one. Okay. Let's bring that guy up a little more. There we go. Oh yeah, I'm looking right here. So they're all balanced now. And if we pit them against the bass and the kick now, so the bass is louder, but I feel like it's only because it's perceptual. Like if I turn down the bass and bring it to unity with the other ones, like level with the other ones, it sounds quieter. So it's perceptually loud. It is visually and literally louder, but perceptually it feels like it's level. You have so many plugins in these racks. Not really. These are just boosters. So that's a low pass. And these ones are just because I'm not using the threshold knob. What I'm doing is I'm setting the threshold knob and then I'm pushing into it. So that's all these are. These are just boosters. And they're finding a good point. EQO is just, yeah. So it is kind of a bit. Patcher, this is the low end cut. The bass cleaner. And then there's balance. This is just for leveling. Because PEQ has been accused of having a truncation. So if the volume goes down and then it goes past a certain point, it just drops off. Whereas if I use balance, the fade will be a little more gradual, right? But yeah, PEQ has been accused of doing this and just kind of disappearing, which is a bad thing. So I got balance last. Okay. So bass perception. Let's listen to the subwoofer again. This is the whole point of all this. Pretty much the whole session besides me talking here. Okay, so there's a car driving by and this is all you hear, right? This is all you hear coming out of the car. Right? It's pretty clean. So that's pretty decent. I fought for a long time to get to this point. Not for a long time, just a couple minutes. Well, this session anyway. And compared to this is what it sounded like before. So this is before. This is what the car driving by sounds like before. All right. Yeah. It's kind of intimidating. It sounds kind of cool, but it's just messy. Like it's just like I don't know. I don't like it. I like it cleaner like this. And then here's the car again, clean car. There's no dissonance. It just kind of rides. And at the same time, too, you got to imagine this isn't just hearing, right? Like these are frequencies you're going to feel. So with that dissonant, that's how your body's going to feel when you're sitting in it. It's going to be like, oh. So yeah, that's not fun. Let's bring it all back here. Not bad. See, I feel like I lost a bit here, but it's still there. This one's still kicking. It's honestly smart to listen to only to the low end and see if it's hitting. Well, it's like really hip hop bass, right? If you listen closely to like these, the bass is gone from these ones. It's like the teeth are knocked out if you listen compared to those two, right? So it's a trick, and that's what Sub Cleaner does. That's what this patcher is doing. It's removing it from the low end, and then it's taking it out of the subwoofer. This was actually co-produced by Status, and he's the one who died, took some bad drugs, and died. And it was part of the first album I released. He never did rap on it. So at this point, what's left? Let's listen to Tote and Maximus here and see what they are saying. Okay, so what Tote is doing is it's rebalancing. It's supposed to be rebalancing, controlled. Yeah, okay, so it's going. And it's just making, I don't know, it was supposed to be fixing the problems. I don't even think I need it anymore. Let's try without. Oh, another thing, Maximus is just doing its de-essing, right? So the snare without, you can hear the snare is really like ear shattering. So if you put that on like a really big sound system, that's gonna like every time that snare hits a dish is gonna break in the cupboard, right? So here's with the de-esser. So yeah, it's controlling things, controlling the upper ends. That way can turn it up nice and loud, super loud, crazy loud, and it doesn't kill anybody. And then Tote is just rebalancing. Do I want to keep Tote off? Yeah. It's just bringing more life into things. It's a cheap shortcut, I guess. It's also controlling the low end. I mean, it's not supposed to be, but it is. What does that sound like? It's just the sub now. After Maximus and Tote. I guess Maximus doesn't really matter. It's fine. It feels fine. Looks fine. Well, yes to those, I guess. Okay, so now for the compressor, the fun part. Right? This is the new thing I've found. I don't know if I have any room here. I guess I could use PEQ2. It's not mixed, so... Oh, but I need to push into it, right? So yeah, I'm going to need to pull some stuff here. What's coming out? Obviously the sub emulator. So let's get rid of that and we'll replace it with PEQ2 and another PEQ2. I'm not even sure that's going to be oh yeah, that's right. I used a patcher last time. So I just did that for nothing. Okay. Whatever. And let's bring in a patcher, right? Patcher. Then let's move it up. Down here. Yes, here. Okay, so let's get rid of this compressor. Turn on patcher, and then any day you're ready to open. Can you open? Okay. Add plug, and then I just want to use the fruity compressor. And I'm going to open that up, right-click presets, internal presets, complete mix. And then I'm going to turn off the gain here. So we're going to zero out. Engagement point is -16, and we are at a 3:1 ratio. 20 milliseconds attack, 440 soft type. So this is where things start to get interesting. I recently discovered this. This is kind of the final stage. I pray to my galaxy that I can finish this album and move on to the next one. Okay, so engagement point, right? Engagement point is what? 16? Okay. So now at this point, what I want to do is I want to come straight through here. And I want to bring the mix to -16, right? Because that's the engagement point. And I just got to watch these other things. So I got to turn off my morphit. These don't really need to be on. Everything else is done. And we'll go. So I'm coming in quite hot. Well, 0, right? But my low point is 9. So I got 0 to 9. Let's just drop it. I said 16. We'll pull it all the way down to 16 and we'll see what we're looking at here. Okay. So I still like the engagement point. How did I do it before? I think I found a medium before. I'm not seeing my project file. Because I did this with 2 other tracks already. And it brought like this mad punchiness. Mad. It was angry punchiness. So let's look at Sinus, I guess. And maybe we'll look at both. No. It's loading. Only got like a few minutes left. Loading. I guess I could set up the other ones whilst these load. Of course, this thing's in the way. Okay, so one's loaded, I think. And I just clicked the wrong thing. So make unclickable. And Zenith? Which one did I open? Zenith. Okay, so I want them around. Okay, so what was the engagement point on these guys? So this is where this one's at. Maybe not. Yeah, no, it can't survive. It's got too much going on. I think it's ozone that's really doing that. It's like a lot of punch there. But how did I get there? So let's go bypass everything and see where that's coming in. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of a medium. I think it's the bottom end there, which is probably the good idea, right? Because we kind of want to sort of clip that that attack transient. Let's look at round here, probably the same thing. Looking at patcher, bypass. What are we looking at? Yeah, about the same thing. So I want the lowest part to be touching 16, not the high part, or not anywhere in the middle. It's going to close all this. Jump in StatCo again. Okay, so I want to bring this up to there. Something like that. That snare is crazy loud. Let's say 3.5. Yeah, happy with that. Okay, so that's engagement. Right, so it's not doing anything. It's just now starting to. Let's look at the scope here for no reason. Let's just have it on screen. Okay, I'm going to break that link and then I'm going to bring in another EQ to drive. So more drive here. We'll get another 18. And I think the other times it was two pushes got me where I wanted. There's one. All right, so not a lot of changes. We're still pretty much we're just starting to level, starting to limit. And then I believe it was 2 whole pushes. Of course I closed them. Okay, and then another one. And this is where we're going to start to hear the punch. Whoa. Yeah, so there's a lot of release increase there. I don't know what happened here. And of course I close these other ones and open them again. Because I want to see how many I did. I think pretty sure it was 2. But I think there was a third one in there. It seemed like there was quite a few in there. So let's move these over. Oh, my computer's stuck. Loading. Let's watch a loading screen, guys. Today on stream, we're watching loading screens. Bring in another one anyway, I guess, for now. Preempt it. But I'm pretty sure it's only 2 boosts. But that feels really hot because the reverb is starting to really squish. Compared to facts. No, pull that. Let's plug this in here. Plug this back in here, and then just override everything. Falling asleep, but still watching. Just a few more minutes, and I gotta be out too. Appreciate you hanging out, and I appreciate all your conversations. Founder badge this guy. Okay, so how many boosts did I do? What the hell? Okay, so this is bring it back down. Right? Why did I bring it back down? Oh, for ozone, right? Okay. Okay, so that's 1. This is to bring it to -16. This is a full boost. And that's no boost? Why is there no boost? And then a half. I'm angry because I forgot to cut the low one on all my sounds. That's why it was so muddy. It's not always a bad thing. Not always a bad thing. It's just about controlling the low end. Before I used to do that too. Like you've seen some of my work where I'd go in and sidechain everything to everything else and have this low end cutting that low end. And it's just so much processing that it kills I mean, it's different for house and techno because they do that. But yeah, like just be careful that you're not neutering your instruments. Like, I mean, a guitar that's playing, E, low E, or say a synth that's playing a low, it's going to have like 250 plus. Your low end starts for that sort of medium range instrument at about 100, 250 hertz forward. Now, there's this thing called the partial, right? I've been noticing. So you got your fundamental, and then after that, the following pieces are called harmonics. And then anything that's extra, that's not part of the mathematical pattern, is called a partial. And I've noticed that below the fundamental, we sometimes get this weird little partial. And it's just sort of a reflection. It's just like the unwanted effect of a sound creation. And it's just something to watch out for. Okay, so this one is actually half. So don't cut your fundamental too much. Don't neuter your instruments. Try to just get rid of that little partial down there. And that'll give you more room. But as far as, like neutering your instrument to kind of make it fit in this little pocket to stick into everything else, it's all about taste too, right? Like I said, techno and dance and house and stuff, they always constantly riding that filter knob, like wow, 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 right? And that's just part of the music. So you're constantly, cutting your fundamental, bringing your partial and boosting your partial. It's just madness. How do you avoid the partial? You can. Well, it's synthetic instruments that usually don't have a partial, like that low partial. And a partial isn't only in the low end. Partials are also on the top. An interesting instrument to demonstrate partials is FM synthesis. Probably the best one for it is Ogun. Okay, so Ogun is generally just FM synthesis, right? And anything that doesn't follow the mathematical pattern is called a partial. For those synth house sounds, I've been using sub bass, but other synths don't need it. Okay, so where's my span? Okay, so if we look at, ouch. If we look at breaking our ears, why isn't this doing anything? Turn this down a bit here. Okay, so yeah, that's just pretty much all partials. Like, look at how much harmonic information is there compared to this guy. So we got a sine, right? Why aren't these things showing up? Right? That's not even supposed to be there. Oh no, it's 3, right? So there's 3 sine waves. Get rid of them. And that's a harmonic. Oh, that's a fundamental. If we step into other instruments like the triangle, we now have harmonics because they are exactly, that number away. They're multiplied by itself. And that's true across instruments, right? And we got just more and more equivalently odd. That's nobody why uses that synth. And then we have frequency modulation, which creates partials. Let's go with something crazy like a guitar. I don't know. Chainsaw Symphony. No, it's still so you can hear it, right? What am I on here? I'm not even on the right instrument. So you can kind of hear that there's other pieces in there. And if we look, say my instrument is here. This is the low end partial. We might want to cut that stuff down here out. If we look at it here, okay, so this is my note. And then if I bring in this gong, anything below that note. So this is where I'm targeting, right? This one can probably go. And then people like to cut out the high end just to make room. But like I said, making that pocket isn't that great of an idea. Okay, so it looks like 1.5. But yeah, you might want to go back. You're going to have to go back quite a few times. It's all about field testing, redoing, and you'll know when it's done. Either that or set yourself a time limit. Like say, like I have, it was supposed to be the end of last year, but definitely this year, I want to get this album cut as soon as possible before, say, the end of May, at least. Like I'll probably, do it way before. I already have the album art done, so that's a plus. And it's just been going back because I'll go in, I'll listen to my headphones and I'll be like, no, I don't like that. I'm gonna have to go back to, what is this? What's StatCo? What? That's not what I wanted. I wanted round. Right, I wanted round. Smith. That scared me. I'm gonna save this. Smith. Yeah, so it's like 1.5. I don't know why this is here. That's just an empty one. It's 1.5 past engagement, right? And is that the same here? So again, there's probably an empty one. So this is engagement. It's 1. That's empty. And a little more than a half. Okay, so it's by ear, but at least half. Right. Interesting. Okay, so I feel like 2 is too much here. Looks like my headphones popped out. Oh, I'm overriding. I'm not even going through. Okay. So it's 2. So I'm not going to leave an empty one this time. I'm just going to delete this one. And then I'll work with this one here. So I feel like we're pushing into it, right? Look at that attack. That's so much attack. So let's get rid of some of that, right? It's half. Let's push into it full blast, right? I can hear that reverb. It's too much reverb. It's like it's pulling on that release. Starting to get to that sausage point. So we're just going by ear here. Like we're trying to find the best point. It feels like a little bit, it feels like too little bit. Let's push up here. Still feels like too little bit. Pushing a little more. 17.5, 16.5. Okay, so I feel like maybe right there, I gotta turn it up. It's already up. What about, oh, I don't have, what do you call it on, eh? Okay, so I don't need to have my level set. I have my 16. Let's bring in Morph it and crank it. Fair warning, gonna be loud. Okay, so let's give it a listen. But you can feel that punchiness. It's crazy. Let's reset here. It actually feels punchier. So as I increase the release, I lose my punchiness. So let's find a balance here. Let's have the middle. Feel really punchy, not enough release. So at this point, this is where I liked it for the release, right? But I lost punchiness. So reel it in a little more, maybe 13.5. Monstrous, monstrous. Let's bring it back. See, like the punchiness is kind of there, but it's kind of dead. Let's try here. 9. I like it there. I like it there, but let's go 10.5. Okay. I feel like I'm happy with that for now. What is my level looking at? What's my level looking at? My level's out of control. Let's turn that off here. Got the limiter. Okay. How much squish here? Not a lot of squish. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so let's drop the level again so we can make some room for ozone to do its thing and bring things to where I want them or where I need them or I require them. Can this little mini map get out of the way? No? Okay. So then drop by 3, right? Okay. That makes room for ozone. Let's bring in the other guys here. Tote, Maximus. Okay, let's turn back on Morphit. So Maximus is pretty much neutering it, but it has to. I mean, it can't be too sharp. Let's let ozone do its thing, and then I gotta call it. So F12, and then I do a full cycle run here. I got to talk over it just so I'm not going to get sampled, or Facebook is going to be on me like, it's somebody else's. Sony Music said it's theirs. Oh, damn time. Okay. Learn thresholds from the left. Here we go. Not really sure what to talk about here. Just listening. Beat is kind of shorter than it used to be. Full playthrough. Maybe looking for any mistakes or anything. I guess I could turn on all outfit. Sort of problems. Oh, night, bro. I'm really sleepy. Not moving anymore. All right, man. Thanks for coming through. Definitely appreciate it. I'll be rating. I'm gonna be rating this guy after, right? So if shit starts to get weird, you know why. I don't know if he's still running, but I do raid, so I will be rating. I gotta be easy on my swearing. Because sometimes it's uncontrollable. I must swear. I swear, therefore I ain't. Sounds good and fat. Yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds huge. A little huge. It's fine though. I guess it has to be. And those tom controls that I did, that's right on the money. But I still feel like maybe it's a little bit too big. I'll find out in the headphones and I'll compare it to the other beats. And we'll see where it's at. Okay, so -4. That's actually kind of like not that high. So it's kind of a bad sign. But that's fine. Give it a save. And give it an export. I'm actually supposed to cut stream here, but I do have to get this done. I want it on my phone today. Export wave, PreCut StatCo, GUI, StatCo. Okay. Replace, yes. And did I turn on dithering? Is dithering on? Oh, and morph it's on too. I definitely have to get rid of that. It's a good thing I came back. Dither is on. Is it set right? Mid. Everything's on. It's good. Get rid of morph it. It's a good thing I looked at that. Let's save here. Of course, it's going to take half hour to save. Dun, dun. Okay, export. Export. It's like Metallica singing. I can't remember what that's called, but like when you're singing and you end with like that little extra sound, that's actually a part of, that's actually a technique. More exporting. I can't remember what it's called. It's got a weird name. I was looking at like some singing, what's it called? Singing stuff, like singing tutorials and stuff. And that was one of the things. I can't remember what they call it though. And everything with like an extra phonetic that's not supposed to be there. Okay, so I'm just waiting for it to finish. RX is waiting. I guess I could do my phone, get that running. Really got to get off. Go clear it out. And I really want to. It's fine. It can wait. However, I do want to cover this part on stream. Just kind of the beginning to end sort of piece. It's done now. Beep-doop. Okay, so let's jump in here, and I want GUI 5 wave open. And then for this step, I want the batch processor. No, I want the module chain. So this isn't something I would actually give to a distributor. This is just something I do for myself. And what it does is it emulates an MP3. Right, it emulates 256, which is good, which is going to cut the high end. And then I'm going to phase correct it, which kind of makes it, equal along. It's phase optimized. And then loudness control, so it brings it back to where I want it, where I was using ozone to bring it to. And then normalize just to turn it up to the maximum point. And then after that, I put it in foobar and I do replay gain detection. So it kind of nullifies the point of loudness and normalized control, but I'm getting the most bang for the buck. So let's let it run. And it does take a few moments here. So it's doing the plugin right now. If we watch, this disappears, right? We lose some high end because that's what MP3 does. It sort of chops off the top of the high end a bit. We lose a little bit of air, and then phase correction or optimization kind of rolls the phase to get the optimum point for the maximum loudness. Loudness control puts it back, and normalize brings it to level. Now let's get it out as an MP3. So it's a maximum MP3, so to speak. It's my own curated, customized MP3. The best MP3 I can make. And then that's done. And foobar. So we jump into foobar here. I'm just going to find the folder. I'm actually going to close this. I'm going to close that. Say no, I don't want to save the wave. Go over to File Explorer, Primo Boats, Primo Beats, Primo-ish, Primo Streets. I don't know, trying to rhyme. PreCuts. And then I want the MP3 StatCo. Just made, hot, fresh off the press. Foobar here. And I'm going to say new playlist. And this is just somewhere to put it. I'm going to grab it and toss it in there. Right click it. Properties. No, not properties. Right click it, go replay gain, and scan per file track. And it gives me this number that the media player is going to follow, update file tags. So now when I play it in the media player on my phone, it's going to match every other track so that there's no like loud tracks against quiet tracks. And then go properties, and I'm going to say artist name, Primo Beats. And I'm just going to copy that down to album artist. And then the album is called Dope Pro. And that's a cut. Well, pre-cut, I call it. And that goes to my phone. So I got to call it here. I will be reading after. Thanks again for Zane coming through. Anybody else that came through. Lurkers are always appreciated. Check out my website, JWPsite.com, for my social links, latest news and updates, and public offerings. My Twitch, JWP stream, Facebook, JWP Meta, YouTube at JWPTube. If you'd like to help support what I do, check out my Patreon, JWP Patreon. That's with 2 P's. There's exclusive content there for making your own audio plugins and synth edit. My GoFundMe, JWP Fund, or my PayPal, jwpmas@gmail.com. Likes, comments, subscribes, follows, whatever makes you click are appreciated. Thanks for watching. Until next time.